Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ask Matt Lloyd. We are here on Serenity Island. There's Fiji, the country of Fiji in the background. And I've got Al Montiero here, who I've known for a number of years. Al is actually one of our coaches in Moab, a very successful entrepreneur in his own right, and he's got the question for today. So Al, what would you like to know?
Well, so Matt, you've been very successful in launching several businesses and scaling them to a different level, where people are admiring what you've done.
Right.
What advice would you give to a brand new student who's looking to launch their business the right way?
Yeah, so I think that the very first thing, and I say this often, but you can't say it enough, is if you're moving into being an entrepreneur or a business owner for the very first time, you've never had a business before, you've always worked for someone else, the most important thing is that you realize you now get paid on results. There's no safety net, there's no getting paid for showing up. You get paid 100% on production. So if you're not producing results, if you're not focusing on activities that directly bring in the money, you're not going to get paid a cent. And I think that's probably the hardest adjustment to make. And some people struggle with that a lot more than others. I certainly struggle with that. When I first went like all in into a business where I had over $40,000 of my own money on the line, that was back in 2009. For a while there, when I wasn't seeing immediate results, yet I was expending all this effort and energy, it was, for a little while there, it was a little bit depressing, and I started to develop some very negative self-talk because I thought, what am I doing? I'm spending all of this time, yet I'm getting nothing, and all of my peers around me, they're going off, getting careers, getting jobs, and I felt like I was going nowhere. So it took me, the truth is it took me the better part of a year, in my case, to fully appreciate, look, I could spend the next 3 years spinning my wheels here and confusing spending time versus basically being busy versus being productive. And so I had to make that mindset shift. And I think after a year, I really appreciated, look, I need to stop stuffing around. I need to stop spending all of my time checking email, watching videos, going to events so I can feel like I'm getting things done. And I need to stop buying course after course after course. And I need to just focus on doing the things which actually bring in the money. So I think that's lesson number one. You get paid on production. Lesson number two is, would you hire yourself? That's the most confronting question that new entrepreneurs have to ask. If you could clone yourself, would you hire yourself? And if the answer is no, then you have work to do. You have work to do. You've got to think, well, why not? Am I not disciplined? Do I not get up when I say I'm going to get up? Am I always late to work in my home environment? Am I lazy? Am I not focused? Am I taking the easy option out? If there's a good TV show on that I like to watch, do I choose to go and do that activity versus writing the email that I should send out or planning my next webinar? So, you can fool a lot of people, but you can't fool yourself. When you look in the mirror and you ask yourself that question, would I actually hire me to be the CEO of my enterprise if I could do that, if that was possible? And if your answer is no, then you got to ask, well, why not? And where do I need to make the improvements? Because 8 years ago, there's no way I would have hired myself. I would have been a lazy, not so much a lazy, but just an ineffective business operator. I would have fired myself pretty quick, I think, back then. But now I can say that, yes, I would hire myself if I could. So would you hire yourself? The third thing really is just understanding that you've got to be okay with delaying gratification if you want to be an entrepreneur. Because even though I said to you the first point that you only get paid on production, even if you focus on the revenue producing activities, in the very beginning, you're ignorant of really what those things are and how to execute them. We all are. That's how we all start as entrepreneurs. We don't know what we're doing. So we try a lot of things. A lot of these things don't work, and we have to make the adjustments. So you have to understand that results aren't going to come right away. Just because you've invested some money in some training, it doesn't mean that you're going to immediately start getting results. We all have different learning paths, and for some of us, we pick it up really quick. For others like myself, it took the better part of a couple of years to really hit my stride and figure out what I was doing and get momentum. So you've got to be willing to delay the gratification and have hope and faith. Have faith that it's all going to work out as long as you're putting in the time, as long as you're focusing, as long as you're doing everything that you should be doing, or you're at least trying. You've got to have faith that it's going to work out, because if you don't have the faith and you start really questioning yourself and doubting yourself, that's when people fail to make the transition from employee to entrepreneur, and they run back to the safety of being an employee. So you've got to have faith. I'm not talking about blind hope where you think just because you're sticking around, going to events, buying courses, it's going to magically work out. I'm talking about you have faith, but while you have the faith, you're doing the things you should be doing. You're promoting, you're marketing, you're generating leads, you're getting on the phone and having sales conversations, you're interacting with people, you're communicating the value, the benefits of your product or service and asking them to make a buying decision. And you're doing that day in, day out. So you're actively moving the business forwards. And as long as you're doing those things, then have some faith. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Certainly.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. Thanks a lot. So if you have a question for me, go to askmattlloyd.com. But otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. I will just show you though, behind me, well, it's kind of gone. There was a very beautiful sunset there. But if you want to come to the island here on Serenity Island, all you've got to do is become a Mode Mastermind member. So hopefully I will see you here in the near future. Speak soon.